Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Inqilab Patel, your CompSci teacher. In this series of lectures, we are studying object-oriented programming for A2 computer science. Object-oriented programming is included in our paper 3 and paper 4 both. We have studied, this is our third lecture in this series. In the first lecture, we have studied what is object-oriented programming itself, what are the features. In the second lecture, we have defined a class using pseudocode and Python code. In the pseudocode, we have defined a class. There are three attributes: roll number, name, and marks. We have studied that these are private. We have some methods. The first method is known as constructor. The name of the method was new, and we have used Rn as parameter. This constructor is used to instantiate an object and storing roll number in the object. Then we have used two setters. One is set name, other one is set marks. Set name is used to store name in the object, and set marks is used to store marks in the object. Both are procedures. Then we have defined three functions: one to return roll number, the second one to return name, and the third one to return marks. And all these are functions. And then we have instantiate object. We have declared an object. We have stored 101 in roll number, Abdullah in name, and 93 in marks. To declare an object, we use declare A2 students, like we declare all other variables. We write down the declare keyword, then the identifier, and then colon, and then the data type. Here the students class is basically a data type. So we have declared A2 students colon students dot new, for bracket के अंदर we have used 101 because in the constructor we have used R. So new is the constructor. So here we have used new 101. Then or we can use constructor keyword. If we have written here constructor in place of new, then we will use constructor. Then we use set name and set marks to store name and marks. We pass Abdullah in set name and 93 in set marks, and then we output the content of roll number, name, and marks using get roll number, get name, and get marks methods. We have done in Python this code. We have defined, uh, declared the roll number, name, and marks as private. So as we never declare a variable in Python, we have used comments to declare them, and we have used underscore underscore to mention that this is a private. Right? Underscore underscore double underscores as prefix means the identifier relate to a private. Then we define constructor. The identifier of the constructor in Python is init, and it is followed by double underscores. Means at the beginning, as a uh, we can say leading, there are leading double underscores, and there are trailing double underscores in the name of the constructor. Then we pass self as first parameter and Rn to store roll number, to be stored in roll number. Then we define def. We use def to define the name of the procedure was set name. We pass self as the first parameter and n to store in name. and the same is done for the set marks. And for obtaining result, we have defined functions. The same keyword is used def to define function. Just we have return a keyword to make it function, and get roll number will return roll number, get name will return name, and get marks will return marks. And the identifier of name has leading double underscores, so we have used these double underscores over here and in the setters and in the getters both. It means this is part of the identifier. Now we will instantiate arrays of object, right? For example, we have three students and we want to declare an array of object for the students, right? And we are asked to store 101 Abdullah 93 as the data of the first student, 102 Abdul Rahman 90, 103 Amatullah 98, and 104 Amatul Rahman 95 in the other student. We will declare array of object like we declare other arrays. To declare the array, we use declare keyword, declare A2 students, right? Then we write down colon, we write down array. We have three students, so we have written 3 or 0 colon 2. If we have 5 students, then we can write down 0 colon 4. If we have 100 students, then we write down 0 colon 99 of students, right? Dot new, and here we will pass. In new, we know that we have a parameter Rn. If we pass any roll number, that will be stored in whole the array. So here we pass just blank space. Null. Now we are asked to store 101 Abdullah 93 in the first index of the array. So we can write down A2 students, then the index value 0, then dot, and then set name. Here we need another attribute, another method to store roll number. So we will declare another roll number in the class definition. Set name, and here we will write down Abdullah. Now I am adding another method to store roll number. Public procedure set roll number. Rn. Right now, A2 students 0 dot set roll number 101, like A2 students 0 dot set marks 93. The same we will do for the A2 students 1, A2 students 2. And if you want to display the content, we will use the same method output. Suppose we have for index is equals to 0 to 2. We have 3 or 99 if we have stored all the data. Then we write down output A2 students. Here we write down index dot and then we write down get roll number. Right? The same way get name and get marks. ठीक है बेटा, this is the way we are using arrays of objects. अच्छा, how to do this in Python? In Python too we will declare it. Huh? Now, how to declare? We will write down. Suppose here I am using not A2, I am using AS. Suppose I am using AS. So to differentiate. Huh? So we will write down AS students is equals to. If we are declaring a simple object like here we have done, we have written student and 101 if you remember. Now we want to store 100 students, array of 100 AS students. We will start square bracket over here. We will use a null value and here we will write down for index in range 100. Check it. Now this is our method command to declare array of object. What we have written as students is equals to square bracket student and हमने इसके अंदर empty लिखा blank वो दे दिया for index in range. Now we can store data in the same way we are using over here. We can write down as students at location 0 dot. Here again we need setter to store roll number. So we will write down set roll number. RN roll number is equals to RN. Set roll number set name set months. Right, and we can print it the same way. We write down. We can store the data of the second student. We can store the data of the third student. We can use loop if we want to store the input and store the data. We can also use loop. Here I have written 1 and this is the second student, right? So the roll number is 102. Name is Abdul Rahman. Roll number is 103. Name is Amatullah. Right, and the marks are 90. and 98 and one more A2 students 104 Amatul Rahman 95. See, and we can print all these values for index in range. We have three values, so we will write down print as students dot uh, index dot get name, right, and comma and comma is get name, get roll number, and get marks. Right, beta? Now I am executing it. Now you can see 101 Abdullah 93, 102 Abdul Rahman 90, and 104 Amatur Rahman 95. I think I missed 103. Okay, but this is the way that we can. ठीक है बेटा? Now you can use loop to import and store the array in the array of objects. We have used loop to output. Right, beta? देख लें. What we have done in the using array, objects in array, we have defined the uh, class as it is. Just we have added set roll number in it, and then we instantiate in an object of array like here as students equals to students for index in range 100. Then here we are storing the value without input. We can use a loop and input and store the value in it, right? For example, I am using a loop and want to store input and store values in it. So we can use for index in range. Suppose I want to use to input data for the five items. Uh, I will write down Rn is equals to input, enter roll number, n is equals to input, enter name, m is equals to input, float, input, enter marks. Right, beta? And then we will store it in the array. So we write down as students at index dot set roll number is equals to Rn. Same. As students at index, right? Set name is equals to n. As students set marks ठीक है बेटा then we will use this loop to output these contents. Right. Right. It says enter roll number, हमने ये तो पुराना वाला डेट है, ठीक है, मैंने कहा कि 200, enter name मुजना, enter marks 92, 93, 202, enter name Laiba, enter marks 98, room Maisra, roll number 203, right? Enter name Vijeta, enter marks 92, 204, enter name Oves, enter marks 93, 205, Arib, marks 93. You may see this. Bye, beta. That's all for today. See you next time, inshallah.